Hello and welcome to the Borealis experience. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me today. I'm very excited to help you focus on yourself, learn more about yourself, and create a space where you can recharge your batteries and just disconnect from a busy life you might have, or if you're in lockdown and bored at home, add some positive vibes, some goodness to your life. This is my third episode. In the second episode, we talked about self-improvement and which areas of our life or which areas of ourselves we can improve on. There's the body, there's the mind, there's the spirit, there's the emotions, and our relationships we have outside of our family, with our family, and with ourselves. I also want to give you a heads up that the Borealis experience is not just for ladies. I will be posting episodes and also label them specific for men, because I feel there's too many warriors out there that feel misunderstood, not appreciated, not seen, and just pushed to the edge of the society. And I want to cater to those guys too. I used to have a internet TV show called The Borealis Show, where I invited guys and it was an incredible experience. They open up about their stories, about their pain, and in doing so we were able to help so many people out there. And my biggest dream is to recreate this, maybe over a podcast with interviewees, maybe videos, maybe in-person interviews. That would be my biggest dream. So I will be posting those episodes soon. But today I will continue with the other pillars of our well-being. So we covered the body and the mind last time. And today I want to talk about the role we have in our community, the relationships we entertain, emotions, and our history. How the story we tell ourselves about our history is strongly influencing how we feel in the present. All right, let's dive in. How did family and society shape you so far? So if you think about the environment you were born into, the school system, first kindergarten, then school, then job, maybe even college and university, not necessarily though. How did your environment shape you? Was it always easy for you and you just flowed through your puberty and had an easygoing life, or were there difficult times, difficult people, difficult situations that really marked you? Also, are you single? Are you in a committed relationship, open relationship? Are you married? Or is your strongest relationship the relationship to your parents? Are you a son or a daughter and take that job very seriously? And then, of course, your job is also defining you. Are you happy with your coworkers? Are you happy with the duties that you fulfill each day? So how do you relate to people in general? Is it healthy, balanced bonding, trustworthy people, or are you more insecure, avoidant, and very judgmental? I talked about it in the second episode. I said beautiful, successful, healthy people usually have very strong, supportive relationships. And sometimes when we feel bad about ourselves, when we are just in a weird space, then we become insecure, avoidant, judgmental. But if we know what can make us feel insecure or judgmental, then we can change that and be happier when we step out into the world. So all this to say, it is really dependent on how we feel about ourselves, on how intense and good and nourishing, supportive our relationships are. I really want to emphasize this because with my podcast here, I want to increase self-respect, self-love, because I know that when a person is happy with themselves, then they see goodness out there, then they spread goodness, and then they help other people out and are compassionate. So when we feel good about ourselves, we're awesome, we are radiant, and we feel supported, and we can give support to others. And when we feel shitty about ourselves, then we are clingy, avoidant, and even manipulative. And the fucked up thing, sorry, I'll have to make this episode explicit, is really that most of the time we are not aware of that behavior when we feel bad. So especially manipulative and clingy. We often just see, feel, and receive the consequences, and that is confusing and disappointing. And then we make conclusions. So let's say you're having a bad day and you are super clingy and judgmental and just, I don't know, sour, and your partner doesn't feel like dealing with it and starts diving into another topic and starts to avoid your pain, then you might make the conclusion that he's not interested in you and he doesn't care about you. And if you were aware that you brought negativity and poison into that conversation or into the relationship, then you would self-correct it, because your partner is not there to make you happy. He's there to share and to be there in good times and in bad times, but it is not his job, her job, to fix you and to cheer you up extensively, right? So when we are in a bad place, then we get weird reactions from people back, and that makes us feel even worse. So it's like a vicious cycle, really. Another point I want to address is who do you want to impress in life? I think we all have that person or these people or the groups where we want to seek approval from. Is it your parents? Is it your friends? Is it your partner? Or is it your inner critic that drives you to do things? And last but not least, the way we were relating to our primary caregivers. It's not always parents, but the primary caregivers between age 0 to 7 years really dictates how we feel in relationships in general and about ourselves. So it is really interesting to look at how children that age, their brains are like sponges, and they really soak up information and process it in their little brains, but don't really question it. They don't look at their parents and say, oh, well, that was a weird behavior and I'm not going to do that. They're going to replicate that behavior. So when you do expose children to very negative, confusing experiences, they usually make it about themselves. So when there is someone angry or aggressive, they are not capable to leave it with the other person and tell themselves, okay, it's nothing about me, my mom has a shit day. They make it about themselves, and that inherently influences your self-esteem. And this is very, very important to know. I can highly recommend you look up Bruce Lipton. He's done extraordinary work when it comes to epigenetics and what happens to the child's brain and how to reflect about the belief systems that you took on in early childhood and are still carrying with you without questioning them, and they might not even serve you anymore. So Bruce Lipton, please look him up. So we had relationships. Now I want to quickly touch on emotions, because the way we respond in situations can also give you a clue if you are in balance and happy, or if you can work on that. So what are emotions? Emotions are energy in motion, and it makes sense, it's more clear when you think about getting really, really upset and angry. Like you can usually feel it in your belly, in your throat, in your head. Like you get rashes, you sweat, I don't have to go more into details there. Then joy. Joy is also something really sweet, and you just feel light and you feel butterflies in your belly. And then there's sadness that feels heavy and sluggish. And so those are emotions, and it is not something that just happens randomly. It is information from the outside that enters your brain, your emotional body. Your emotional body is where emotional experiences were stored. And those informations, that info from outside, is evaluated based on the experience you made in the past. And it is really interesting when I started meditating how I realized that a lot of the times my thoughts are just a random reaction chain of something that got triggered inside of me. And same with my emotions. There's lots of examples I could give you there. But emotions can also be more related to your past experiences than what is actually happening in your life right now. It is very, very fascinating, and I will definitely dive in deeper when it comes to emotions in later episodes. And then we have our history that also defines us. What experiences, consequences, and conclusions did we make about our past, about things that happened to us? What filters from the past can limit us? Think about the mom who is paranoid of spiders, and the little child, 6 years old, sees that spider is scary and goes to kindergarten the next day and encounters a child where the mom is totally fine with spiders and even nurtures